times when I find they are the most shaky is when they have lacking their engage options. Now suddenly, Lilia flanks into those flash Q ultimates or just one swell seed hitting, that gives you extra options. When DFM have playmaking, every single member on this team is a flashy playmaking kind of player. And Ebby with his hands on that, dangerous to see.
Level 1 ward in the bush, taken out by Sengoku, who did stack up there with multiple members to ensure the Lucian army couldn't have the easy lane priority. Looking to see whether there was a catch to be found in lane. But all the while, there'll be some wards that are thrown down by Ebby and Steel into the topside jungle, I believe. That there you go on the minimap. You can see that one red ward in with the blue buff. And there are our runes for the day. It's Conqueror Lilia, no surprise, but double first strike from the Victor and the Lucian. You've talked through that one already. And there you go, Alex, highlighting that red ward in the blue buff jungle. Actually, Ebby's doing what he normally does and hanging around looking to be really obnoxious at level 1.
I mean, I think that smiley face is perfectly applicable, Nightmare. I mean, one of these junglers has knowledge, information.
I'm enjoying this way too much. I'm enjoying this way too much.
Who agreed to give him the drawing tools?
We all did, neutrally, sadly.
I have my part to play in this, and I apologize to everyone at home. Anyway, on to the level 1s.
It just means that at this moment in time, Once is going to be, well, sadly, once again tracked throughout his whole jungle clear. Who knows Poppy pathing rotations better than the player who arguably introduced it to the region in past seasons? Steel is going to know exactly what's going on, and the fact is, Once is now playing without that information. Now, the other thing to think about is Steel starting in red side. He's going to be coming down. He's starting as red. He's going to be coming down to bot side. Guess which lane he's going to be wanting to pressure first? It's going to be Udapon. It's going to be Harp, and expect something at level 2, level 3 to be coming out, because if they don't, they're not going to be as lane dominant. But do they need to be?
Right, and checking in here on the Blitzcrank, Sam, before I throw to Nightmare. Like, remember, of course, the stat spot there does generally favor scaling somewhat, but that's a very heavy shift, at least statistically. 59% is a huge one. Yeah. And like, do keep that in mind. Clearly, the stat spot thing, DFM's comp looks pretty good in the ties.
The Ornn's got pressure, right? Yaharong doing his dividends there to make sure that Once doesn't have an easy gank through. DFM have very heavily pushing topside. You might think that means Steel wants to go into the enemy jungle through topside, but no, it's going to be Utspon and Harp blowing the heal early just by threatening, and they still have the wave on their side of the lane. They can do whatever they want with this wave. It's a bit of a freebie there. Yaharong has pressure in the mid lane and hasn't been punished for that one either. DFM getting a free victory, I suppose, out of the bot lane there, especially since Sengoku want to be getting some pressure there, given how the top side will be pushing in favor of DFM.
Completely agree. Need to see from this point, though, what the plans are early. DFM looking to shove in pretty much every lane, which is good news for Steel and slightly more alarming news for Once, who will maybe be able to punish the extended lanes, but is otherwise going to struggle to find easy ingress into the enemy jungle or to make plays happen in the river.
But as it progressively goes on, this is going to be spots where Steel is going to need to show themselves. They're going to need to be active and making those plays, because you can't let Zeri Ornn scale in this game. You can't let a Lulu escort their support, their AD carry, and get into the mid to late game. And Jit will eventually just blow up Utapon or even Ebby before they can do anything, depending on build. So there is a lot of agency on DFM to actually make sure that Sengoku don't quietly and comfortably get through to the mid game, because at that point in time, there is an option where Sengoku will
I think particularly when you're looking at the Ornn, lots of abilities to punish that Victor in particular as an immobile carry. Fight on the bot side, jungler showing up.
Here we go. NT dead for first blood, over to Udapon, and Once has to back away straight out there. They were trying to bait it, and NT pays the price. Great pickup by DFM's bot lane.
This is a lane which we saw DFM pick up at MSI. Utapon, historically not a Lucian player, but we saw him go to use it to great effect at MSI, dashing in once again, just making sure that Sengoku cannot sit under this turret. Once is going to get caught out. Steel's still here.
Oh, Harp's got a heal. Once takes a lot of damage, and they're going to be trying to keep this wave alive under tower, but it will be the heal pop by Harp, and NT being back means that Vital gets to stay under tower.
But that's going to be the wave crashing in for the side of DFM, and arguably that was the most important part of that whole play after getting the kill. Make sure after with your bubble, toil and trouble, DFM find it every single time with the ebb and flow at the end from Harp here. They do secure the kill onto the Lulu. And hey, it's just also targeting the squishier one, the one at base stats. Who's going to have stats? Well, it's actually the Lulu every single time till Sunday. Great execution there by DFM, but crashing the lane allows Udapon and Harp to actually reset, get back on the map. And now, when you look at it, what has just happened to Sengoku? They've had to crash the wave, but it's all mismatched.
Yeah, and there's a real danger here from Sengoku now where you have very strong components from the Lucian. Typically, what you'll see from the Lucian nowadays is sitting on the Dirk until third item. You then go towards Gale Force and your Rapid Fire Cannon. But getting a pickaxe and a Dirk already, that's the kind of point with your first strike and electrocute coming through where someone actually gets one shot in this lane. If this Lulu steps up, Utapon can legitimately one shot the first person that walks up to them. That means you don't get to play around bot side. You've sat on a cull for Vital, which means that you were already doubling down on not wanting to fight. But that means you can't fight in the 2v2. You can't fight in top side. See what's happening there. I mean, Paz down in CS a significant amount at this point, and as much as Paz is picking the ult up...
Oh no!
Ooh,
It's
gets
just
slapped.
terrible.
Takes a lot of damage. Gonna see what he can do to try out from this one. But another swell seed landing, and Ebby continuing to be very obnoxious here with the blooming blows. Goes up with a watch out eat.
Yeah, that's the stacking up the
Forces him
Conqueror,
charge
stacking up
away.
your Q movement speed, using the sleep to deny the ult recharge. Paz is there, it's like, haha, I have an Orn. No, I have half an Orn. No, I don't have any Orn combo at that point. And Ebby is, with this counter pick, doing well in the individual matchup in the way that we know only he can do within our region.
And why would you ever doubt him? Everybody, the moment we saw that Lilia locked in, we three got excited. And I mean, I think he's showing exactly why we got excited. This man has a champion pool wider. He was only tied by one other player throughout all of playoffs in the 2022 summer season. Only one player on DFM actually matches the amount of champions that Ebby has played. And that's Harp, who has also got a champion Ocean, playing picks like Pike, but also bringing random other picks out. They have both got champion Oceans. The versatility of DFM is coming through. And this
the
Lilia
ults.
is just a point example. However, Yahara,
Oh, down in the mid lane.
Once
Solo
again,
kill for Jet.
Sengoku in Jet we trust. This Victor is the risky part of DFM's composition. You're at risk of the Ornn. You're at risk of the Akali, and we saw that in game one as well. While the side lanes are finding their advantages, Sengoku's all-star mid laner does take down Yaharong in the 1v1.
And in this is just partly just execution, hands and set. Jet just finding the right moment. But I mean, initialize, this is just kind of beautiful to watch.
It's very well played. He does such a good job dancing back and forth with the passive. Gets this in here, throws the Chaos Storm, but it's just too late. Gets the ultimate, the flash is too late. And Jet, finally coming alive in this series, gets himself that solo kill, and a necessary one, because DFM were just beginning to run over
honestly,
the lane
at this
from
point,
just pure laning.
you're looking at Once as the early game playmaker. He's not here to present this play. DFM just
Oh,
running
no.
all over Sengoku the rest of the map.
Up. They get both. They're all gone. The bot side is dead, and this is what the Lucian army can do. Not necessarily supposed to be lane dominant. Is in this game.
I mean, Jet doesn't have the ult here. He's just here to pick up a wave. Once is around.
To see how it goes from here, though. Harp taken solo. Jet gets that one. Can he get any more? Once will not be able to get that much out of it, and that'll be DFM backing out, but a kill to Jet, a second one for him.
And with this, that means actually some more time for Sengoku. They can actually be proactive, and they actually now have first option onto this dragon. That's going to be something where, hey, I said mid to late game, that's where Sengoku are going to be comfortable in this game, and things like a dragon, that's a cheat condition. That's a way to skip into the mid to late game far faster and accelerate their game plan. But that's only one mistake, and it's onto Anami. The important thing is Udapon still gets to farm and reset and get back out onto the lane.
This Lucian's actually getting scary now. This Lucian is at the point where you're like, okay, you gotta kill that Lucian, otherwise things get really, really difficult. Now, you have the tools to do that, and you have a lot of it, much like in game one, you had the tools to kill the very scary Victor. And they did at some points around those objective setups, but I do feel like it is going to come down to those objective setups again as Harp. Just make sure that these are delaying the rotation of Sengoku from bot side to top side. Though actually, with the way this is working, I don't think Steel can finish off this objective in time, especially against the Ornn ult. You need to be very careful with your timings around this Herald. So, DFM losing out on the neutral objectives, although the goal is very much in their favor. Sengoku with that early dragon, now actually an option onto Herald as well, at least the dissuasion on the Herald from DFM. They are not unhappy with this early game.
They're not necessarily, as long as they manage to keep the plates up, because if Utapon continues to get plates without Herald even being taken, then it gets a bit scarier. But Jet, having claimed 2 early kills, is a breath of life for this team. He can begin to carry if he can continue to build these kind of advantages.
Remember, this is game number 3. Match point for Detonation FocusMe, and finding leads and things like this.
Oh my days, Vital just takes half his HP bar, and Udapon trades it straight back out. He's doing just fine with his HP totals. They've already got 3. They've nearly got a 4th just from straight laming. Udapon has got 2 levels and a culling to take NT down to half now afterwards.
And again, it's just this overwhelming 2-part trades which DFM can have through this bot lane, where you just land one bit of CC, Utapon finds the spacing to get some auto attacks down, and then the second trade is the one which is really dangerous after that point. So neither bot lane is going to be up towards this Herald in time. See that Utapon and Harp do have first rotation. They will be here if Sengoku choose to go for it, but Sengoku pull the trigger.
They do what they can. Ebby knocked up, trying to trade this one up, flashing away. Just have blooming blows, but once will be coming for an angle. In goes Jet. Paz gets that one. Steel taken low, and they will punish the attempt to contest the river. That is
timing
2
is just off from DFM. We talked about this being dangerous against the long-range engage of the Ornn. Ornn around Herald fights is really hard to beat. DFM playing well in lanes, but poorly around that topside skirmish. And Sengoku, they get themselves a breath of fresh air. Said that a couple of times with Jet and his own plays, but that Herald certainly adds something extra for the hope stocks of Sengoku.
Oh, another bubble into the tidal wave. How much more can they get down? Vital throws down the lightning crash to trade this one back out. Up, being rolled away. The rundown is pretty good, but Vital needs to be a bit afraid because look who's coming from behind. It's all a bait because Yaharong is roaming. Not
He's
quite
gonna
enough.
have to reset and find it. Good opportunity, an idea from the Sengoku bot lane, but the fact is, they are like several thousand gold down is Vital compared to Udapon at this moment in time. And hey, that would be a great opportunity if they could have found them. But as we come into this replay, again, I want to just talk about vision every single time, because once is off of vision for the side of Sengoku, and DFM don't know he's there till it's all too late. And while so much of this was set up by Pan, it's a gorgeous setup, it's cleaned out by once at the very end there.
But the thing for me is, like, I don't care where once is on that fight, because the Ornn would have done the same thing. I'm just like, the once thing is the cherry on top. But either way, DFM take an objectively wrong fight around the Herald for another time. Ult into the mid lane. Jet might have to force the flash.
He does have to flash. He gets burned down very low. Leandri's on. Cost him a lot of HP, and that flash being down is pretty huge. DFM might be able to shove in and claim a plate in the mid lane, but decides instead to reset as Harp backs up his mid laner and forces Jet's aggression to be punished for once.
And I mean, hey, this is just understood that Detonation FocusMe want to have lane control. They want to punish and find spots. And hey, that was at one point Jet finding out that, hey, Yaharong brought his mythic. All right, need to reset the money. I'm going to go buy my one. All right, I've got mine now.
But the reason they could do this is something that they've done in the series so far, where you actually could see that Sengoku are just pulling out this these wards down here. But right now, this vision line here along the river is the most important thing for these mid laners right now, when it's not around these objectives. See where the sleep comes in.
Let's get the knock up. Ebby's still pretty slow, though. He's going to be able to get out of there. So that's the summoner heal popped by Paz due to his spellbook. And Ebby just gets to walk on out ult for ult trade.
But where will that actually mean? What will this actually accomplish? Because Ebby arguably is planning to reset around this time. He wants to try and push the wave in. Wasn't successful in doing so, and has actually decided to recall. From the looks of the ping that also just came out, he's tempted to actually teleport. He's teleporting top, which means I have to assume Detonation FocusMe have no interest.
I mean, Ebby just used the ult, and that's the big thing, right? I feel like if you have the swirl seeds coming out of Fog of War from top river, that's something you don't necessarily want to do when you're going in for a siege, because as soon as that happens, the way that the culling works is that the culling won't pop the sleep in the same way that the Misfortune ult won't pop it as well, if you're already on target when the sleep is starting to go down. So that could just be a real just instant 100-0 with no counterplay involved if that comes from the top Fog of War. Lots of kill pressure. Sengoku trade ult for ult on top side. Paz is happy doing that, knowing that that Ebby's ult and Ebby's advantage won't be leveraged on the rest of the map for that play.
Still, though, that DFM are going to roam down towards this dragon and start it up. Ebby has gone towards the mid lane to control the wave there. And Sengoku decided they want to play for side lanes to get some turret pressure. Of course, the turrets are still pretty healthy for DFM in the side lanes. They're not going to get a full tower or anything, but it will be some waves lost at the very least.
Cloud Soul is on the table, and if you ask me, the team with the Lilia typically benefits a little bit more than a lot of other teams, especially because this is a lane Lilia. So talk about benefiting more than ever.
I mean,
before.
there are actually a couple of champions on.
No plates to actually
Yeah, there
claim
are.
by
Oh
Sengoku.
yeah, they didn't actually get that. Wait, did they not claim any of that?
They didn't. And the Herald came in a second
gosh, and
after
Jet
14
is
minutes.
second
So now
lane on
Jet's
bot
in trouble
side.
bot side. Gets cycloned. Gonna try and trade his way out. Will do have an ultimate to try and go back in, but it's shut down. Steel claims the life and the turret will
Okay,
fall
so
just
DFM,
afterwards.
they use their skirmishing power. Now it's Ebby Keltz alone on this top side. Ult probably going to be pulled from both sides.
He still has flash, but he's going to get slowed down. Does get a lilting lullaby.
And
but he's
that's
got
the
nowhere to
second
go. He
time we
just goes
see
down there.
Ebby pulling the ult to try and stop the Ornn second recast, but it doesn't come in time. It happens both times. Ebby misplaying the individual matchup just slightly and leading to one side that unfortunate reset, and the second time the death in that top side. So where we expected this counter pick to be something that DFM could play around, a point of advantage, it's now 3 kills to the Ornn, and once and Paz taking that topside turret in a way that we rarely see between these two teams.
And it does bear repeating. This was another spot where Ebby was just pretty deep into his own lane without any vision of any of the side of Sengoku's top side. Like, at some point, it just falls on Ebby to actually maybe just give a bit more respect to the whole side of Sengoku. Maybe not the 1v1. Maybe he feels confident there, and there's nothing wrong with backing yourself there. But now it's definitively now in Paz's stage. He's level 12. He's going to start getting ornaments pretty soon. And that's when you start going, Lilia's great, but Ornn is going to scale. And the 5v5s are just
Okay, so we do have the map starting to open up once again. We can see that the Akali starting to push him down here against the Victor. You can also see that Lilia left on their own here. The question is, what's going to happen when you push in and can start moving down into mid lane from these various areas? Watch out for those wards. Watch out for those wrist rockets, as Star Wars Battlefront would say. But I'm not sure that's quite applicable in this one. But I'm looking at, I'm looking at how this one's going to work out. And I see that it really is about pushing in from those side lanes down to what's going to happen in this mid lane.
Oh, Vital's not going to enjoy that very much. Once he's here to try and punish, but so is Harp and Steel. So it's a chunk on the Vital. The Immortal Turbo down in the bot lane, though. Jet goes in to try and get the kill. Won't quite get it. Flash out. Wants one more auto. Both of them want one more auto. There's a flash not quite up on Jet. Yaharong looking for it. Burn!
Oh.
Burn's going to be so close. Not quite. He's on 58 HP, but over comes Harp. Throws out a Tsunami. Jet needs to land one more auto. Needs to land a Shuriken, but the heal is just so much, and Utapon will be the one who claims the kill. Jet can't find the 1v1. But the side of DFM certainly can find the return.
Let's just keep adding on to the Utapon bill and list of people there that he will execute. If you're on his list, you're guaranteed to be dead soon.
Oh, NT.
And look
No. That's
Steel.
gonna be a lot of damage. That'll be a dead Lulu, you expect. Turnaround is pretty good. NT
Oh.
flashing out, but over the wall. And flashing from Harp with an ebb and a flow. And those tides are high in favor of DFM. They are sailing with a full head of
A
steam in
rising
this one.
tide sinks all ships in this case. Ebby no longer has the ult, traded them this time, and Ebby finally gets an extended run in the 1v1. Ornn gonna get kind of difficult for Lilia at some point in terms of getting a lot of base damage onto them. Lilia doesn't exactly get tanky themselves, but for now, Ebby starting to run over this matchup, or continuing to rather. And now DFM, this skirmish comp, the ability to follow up on so many picks with that new Lucian Nami with the Wukong going into the enemy jungle, it is giving Sengoku a lot of problems because they are really wanting to get towards those 5v5 teamfights again, where Jet can find flanks, when Paz can get those big ultimates, but they've not been allowed that at all.
No, and they've not actually been opting for them, which has actually been the kind of funny thing. They've been wanting to keep Paz on the side lane. They've been saying, hey, this is what we want to have, and that's perfectly fine. I don't actually think that's an issue. The issue is if they don't start committing to an actual 5v5 soon, the game could get too far away from them because, hey, there's only a 4k gold difference. That doesn't look that bad in the grand scale of things. The issue is, for a lot of the gold that they've actually got on the side of Sengoku Gaming, it's all on this Ornn. It's Paz, and he's going to need to be a huge performance for them.
He's got a force of nature, which is great, but like it's holding
Yaharong?
Ebby well enough for now. But that's only going to be for so long as Yaharong gets over the wall, though, and is out thrown down
That's
a gravity
ridiculous.
field. And Sengoku
But he
Gaming
just got
decide they
2
don't wanna walk
flashes
through
and
that.
escaped with the blast cone. That shouldn't happen. It just about manages to escape at that front, and Sengoku, 2 of their big playmaking, gap-closing flashes wasted on a very fortunate blast cone escape.
I'm pretty sure James Bond or Yaharong might be trying to audition for a future part because they're finding everything Mission Impossible! DFM Can you 3-0 and have a decisive finals versus Sengoku? Or are we about to have repeats of ones from before? Let's find out. With this dragon, who's going to start stacking? I have an opinion that DFM are actually probably going to be favored with that Rift Herald.
Watch out for these
pushing in
12 seeds.
mid.
See if they can land on someone
Gold
important.
lead. Now Jet on the other side as well. He is spotted by that ward by Gromp from DFM.
Slide
they
on a
know where he
vital.
is. All of the
Poppy.
forge god is used. Poppy ult, but doesn't really get that much down. Now what can the turnaround be? Paz has to charge away. There's the word I'm looking for. Jet to the backside onto Uniform. Can't get the kill. It's deleted. Dragon taken by Zeri, but all the while she's not getting enough damage done. And the other side of DFM certainly are the champions, the Titans. Any other name you care to mention of DFM are running over this game. It is the AD carry. It's Utapon, the longest standing player in the world with 5-0-3. Bow down and remember why he is your elder.
DFM came here, check numbers. Oh, Orn, you've got 3 kills. That's lovely, buddy. We don't care. They get mid-turret in that push. They give the dragon, but get the fight. And Nymera, DFM are unstoppable.
And this is even with the Wukong being shunted out of the fight. But right at the start of this, you can see that the Swirl Seed, the second in this fight, lands onto Vital. It means that the Zeri isn't positioning in a way to really turn around the initial engage. It buys enough time for Steel to come on the flank and gets right into the mess of things. Sengoku have waited the entire damn game to get a flank and get the 5v5. DFM get the flank to counter it, and Sengoku, in this third game, when their backs are against the wall, are getting slammed into it by our overlords, Detonation FocusMe.
And remember, this was a 5v5 they wanted. They decided to opt into this. 4k down, dragons apiece. They wanted this, even with the Rift Herald running down the mid lane. They didn't even want to pull off and say, hey, let's just try and get the gold and secure everything else. They wanted to decide this fight, and it all started with one starting that Poppy ult, knocking Steel out, and it felt like it was so good.
Jet's trying his best.
The Poppy ult.
The turnaround is pretty good. The knock away, but there's going to be a turnaround because Yaron claims it. It's a 1-for-1 in the end. Mid laner gets one, and the other is traded back, but that is a support for him mid lane. The Poppy ult nearly does its work, but it's not enough, and now Once needs to run away real fast because Yaharong is chasing away the Yordle with a hammer, and the hammer blow falls. This time with Victor leading the glorious.
And every
evolution.
time you lose someone against a Baron buff, it weighs double. They're not there to defend a turret. They're not there to make a big play and shut down this Baron push. Sengoku doubled down against the wall and are smashed right the way through. There's a Sengoku-shaped hole in this LJL wall right now. And DFM crushing through the base. That could very well be the game-winning set of plays.
And what a play it's been. Jet, a player that was in the LPL, in the LCK once, who was once a champion, one of the best damn junglers in the league back in 2018, who has struggled since he's been separated from the likes of Ebby to win again. He was stuck on Burning Core for so long, struggling to make things work. And in this finals, in the Juggernaut match before it, they just can't quite find enough. Maybe they can get onto Ebby, but Paz, not like that. Not in a game like this. They tried to turn it around. Paz gets a knock-up regardless, but here comes DFM. Jet goes to the backside. He'll get one, but at what cost? He doesn't get over the wall. That's for sure. Utapon gets another. Paz will flash, but there's nowhere to go. He'll teleport out, but not for much longer. Will go down before it completes. Just nothing is working for Sengoku Gaming. They're naming themselves after the Warring Kingdoms. It turns out the Shogunate is DFM.
And can you feel it in the air? Because Detonation FocusMe can, if they were to close out this game, and it seems oh so likely, they will claim single-handedly, share it with no one else, the title of most dominant domestic team in League of Legends history. So many names, so many titles to their name. They are looking to stamp their authority once more on the global scene.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Detonation FocusMe. 4k Baron power play, but within that 4 towers they got with this Baron. So many objectives, so many kills. This game was completely different prior to that Baron fight, and DFM have pulled the trigger and keep going every single time. And this all started because they thought they found the other top laner that always goes internationally if it's not Ebby. It's Paz on multiple different rosters. But he gets a bit too far. He gets a bit too deep, and DFM are able to collapse.
And
Yes,
maybe you can
they
give the
do.
benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's trying to use it as a dash to get away from it. Either way, that ultimate is not impactful. It's not a quick pick. And after this point, Yahorong managed to get the death throw over the wall, and even their attempted so as not to work out, so little from Sengoku has worked out for them after that game one.
no.
See, once having to blow flash. Every turn, Sengoku are looking to make a play. DFM are ready, waiting, and are just better.
Oh. Steel has decided this game should be done now. Jet does get out, but at what cost? Paz being slowed down afterwards. Flash blown by Steel alongside the ultimate. But the statement is made nonetheless. They are forced out of that lane.
And DFM can just keep pushing, pulling Sengoku around. Cloud Drake is up. This is a formality for them. They're just going to take it off, so there's no bounties on the table for the side of Sengoku Gaming. They could just keep pushing themselves, and Nymera, I think it's safe to say that DFM have set themselves up to end off of a Baron and then end this whole series for themselves.
Utapon's picked up a GA as well. Even if you shut down the Lucian, gotta kill him again.
Oh
Do you have
my
the
God.
cooldowns for it? Yahorong, he's got a Banshees. He gets smited away from, though.
There's flash away. The teleport coming through now. Jet gets wild growth, but how much damage can he get done? He takes so much damage. The airborne flow, the electrocute blocks, and an Imperial Mandate. Ain't that appropriate for DFM? The emperors of this region continue to be so dominant. A lilting lullaby will put them to sleep. This game is being put to bed, and just like that, it's a 3-0 for DFM.
And they said they will not go. Unipod still hasn't even died!
And just like that, it will be back to back championships for Detonation FocusMe. They revamped the roster, they revamped the league, and they are the most dominant team the LJL will ever know. Bow down and stir obeisance. They are your kings once more.
Another title to the trophy case.